Good day everyone, this is your math teacher Sir Jonathan Abing. So today's lesson is solving quadratic equation. This lesson is the quarter 1 module 1 of your module. So let's discuss this lesson immediately. So first let us study what is a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation in one variable is a mathematical sentence of degree 2 that can be written in the following standard form. Makita ninyo ni EX squared plus BX plus C is equals to 0. Naka-standard form ni siya. This is the standard form of a quadratic equation. Take note ani ha, where A, B, and C are real numbers and A must not be equal to 0. So, mo ni siya ang A, ang B, ang C. Tapos kaning A, dili ni siya equal dapat sa 0. This is the question. Why do you think A must not be equal to 0 in the equation ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0? It is because kung ang A manggod mahimo siyang 0, automatic dili na siya maporma og quadratic equation. Mahimo na siya og linear equation. Kay obviously the most important part manggod sa quadratic equation is the A. Kay kung mawala na siya, mahimo na siya og linear equation. Dili na maporma ang iyahang graph. So that is why it should be A must not be equal to 0. So to illustrate the standard form, nakita ninyo ning drawing, EX squared plus BX plus C is equals to 0. Kaning EX squared, mo ni siya ang first term, tawago na to na siya o quadratic term. BX, the second term, this is what we call the linear term. And lastly, this C, this is what we call the third term, the constant term. Example, 2x squared plus 8x minus 5 is equals to 0. This is a quadratic equation. Kaya naka-standard form man siya. Tapos, ang value sa A, mo ni ang value sa A, mo na ni siya, mo ni ang quadratic term. So, ang value niya sa A is only the 2. Dili ang 2x squared. 2 lang siya. Dara. Ang value sa B is the 8. The positive 8. And the value sa C is the negative 5. So, this is an example of standard form of quadratic equation. I have here two example. We have example number 1 and example number 2. Kung mapansin ninyo, both examples are not written in standard form. So, sa itong buhaton, so all we have to do is isolve na to siya para maporma siya ng standard form. So, applyan na to siya distributive property. So, 3x, i-distribute na to siya sa x, we have 3x squared. Then 3x also distribute to negative, so negative 2. So that is why natin negative 6x. Then equals to 10. Since atong standard form is equal to 0, di ba? So kailangan kaning 10 mahimo ni siyang 0. So unsa na to paghimo sa 10 mahimo siyang 0. So i-minus na to siya og 10. Didaka na to siya og 10. So 10 minus 10 is equals to 0. Take note ani ha. Kung magdidak kag 10 diri sa 10 para may mo siyang 0, you should be magdidak po kag 10 diri up before the equal sign. So naatay 3x squared minus 6x minus 10 is equals to 10 minus 10. So therefore naakay final answer nga 3x squared minus 6x minus 10 is equals to 0. Take note ani ha, usabon ako. Kung unsa nga number imong i-deduct diri, mao pod imong number nga i-deduct diri. Kung nagdungag ka, so kung nag-add ka diri, kung for example, nag-add ka og 10, so mag-add po ka diri og 10 before the equal sign. So take note, ana, dili dyan na siya kalimtan. So balik na diri sa itong example number 1. So the equation becomes 3x squared minus 6x minus 10 is equals to 0. Naka-standard form na siya. So makuha na ninyo ang value sa A, which is 3, ang value sa B, which is negative 6, and value sa C, which is negative 10. So likewise, sa example number 2, the same po siya. Dili siya naka-standard form. So apply ta og distributive property. So, i-distribute na to ning 2x sa x minus 1 as well as ang 5, i-distribute po mo siya sa x minus 1. So, naahi mo na siya ginani. So, i-simplify na to. So, 2x, another 2x, di ba, i-distribute mo na to siya. So, 2x, i-distribute sa x, so natay 2x squared. 2x, i-distribute sa negative 1, so natay negative 2x. Ang 5 po, distribute sa x, 5x. Ang 5, i-distribute sa negative 1, natay negative 5. Is equals to negative 6. The next step is combining like terms. Asa man ang magkaparihag term? Kani, mo ni siya, ang negative 2x ug 5x. Unsaon na to pag-identify nga pareha silang term? Pareho sila na ay x. So, negative 2x, dungagan ni mo 5x, so naa kay 3x. So, natay 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. Asa naman sa nigikan ning positive 6? Dari ni siya gikan. Since, di ba, naman yung equal sa negative 6, ingon ako kaganiha, ang standard form is equals to 0. So, ang negative 6, nagdungag siya og positive 6 para may mo siyang 0. So, that is why naa siya positive 6 diri. So, karon na atay final answer na 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. Ngayon na mo maning 1. Take note ani, negative 5 man na, unya kani positive 6. So, ang 6, gibawasan ng negative 5, mao ni siya na mo siyang 1. Since dere, negative 6 plus 6, 0 na siya. So, na-forma na siya standard form. Now, the equation becomes standard form, which is 2x squared plus 3x plus 1 is equals to 0. Karon ma-identify na nimong value sa A, which is 2, ang value sa B, which is 3, and the value sa C is equals to 1. So, mo ni siya ang quadratic equation. Now, let's try to solve quadratic equation by extracting square root. So, this is page 7 on your module. So, quadratic equation that can be written in the form x squared is equals to k can be solved by applying the following properties. Okay, take note, x squared is equals to k. Kung sa man ni siya, nakapurma nga equation nga x squared is equals to k. Basta x squared is equals to k, equation nga inana, extracting square root ang atuang isolve sa quadratic equation. Since kabalo naman taon sa dagway sa quadratic equation, karon isolve na to siya using extracting square root. Balik ta. Kung inaani atong equation x squared is equals to k, take note of the 3. Kung ang k daw nimo greater than 0, unsa man ay pasabot ana? Ang k greater than 0, pasabot kung ang kani daw k dako pa sa 0, so unsa man na siya? Positive number. So, unsa ang number nga mga dako pa sa 0? 1, 2, 3 pataas. So, kung kana daw siya positive number, naatay duha ka answer. Number 2, kung ang kaning k na pud nimo is equal sa 0, isa lang atong answer. And number 3, kung ang k daw nato is less than 0, pasabot negative numbers, negative 1 pababa. So, ang answer nato, wala tay real solutions. So, what are the examples? So, mao ni siya ha. Let's give you a few examples. So, A, B, C, and D. So, asa ang k dere? Ang k nimo kaning 16. So, positive number siya. Kung isolve nato ni siya, natay duha ka solution. Letter B, atong k is 0. Sa pagsabot sa 0, naatay isa ka solution. Letter C, mo ni atong k, negative 9. Negative numbers, wala tay solution. And letter D, take note ani, x minus 4 squared is equals to 25. Ang atuang k atong x dire kani siya kaniha x mo ni siya atong x. Mo man siya x squared. So ang atong x dire is kaning x minus 4 mismo. So, atong k there is 25. So, 25 is a positive number. So, therefore, natay duha ka solution. So, isolve nato ning A, B, and C, D sa next slide. So, first, let's solve letter A. So, example number 1. Find the solution of the equation x squared minus 16 is equals to 0 by extracting square root. So, saan siya pag-solve? So, x squared minus 16 is equals to 0. So, isolve nato siya. So, igawasan nato ning negative 16 para maporma siya x squared is equals to k. So, unsaon nato pagpagawas? So, ang kaning negative 16, mag-add ta og 16 para ma-0 na siya. As well as sa kabila, mag-add po tag 16. So, 0 plus 16. So, mo come up tag answer nga x squared is equals to 16. Karon na forma na siya og standard form. Now, basahon na to. Since 16 is greater than 0, then the first property applied to find the value of x that will make the equation x squared minus 16 is equals to 0 is true. Now, kung saan pag-solve, ang pagwala sa x squared is kailangan nimo siya i-square root. So, when may square root x squared, x na lang mabilin. Kung mag-square root po mo, dire sa x squared, may square root po ninyo ang 16. So, take note of the following this one. When we square root a number, you have two remaining answer. It is a positive 16 and negative 16. So, obviously, imong suraton, when we square root a number, naatay plus minus. So, when we square root x squared, we have x. Then, the square root of 16 is 4. So, we have positive, negative 4. So, duha atong answer, positive 4 and negative 4. That is why 16 is a greater than 0. So, natay duha ka answer. Muna siya. Now, let's move on to example number 2. Solve the equation t squared plus 10 is equals to 10. So, pag-solve ana. So, i-solve na to. So, muna ni siyang resulta. T squared plus 10. Mag-deduct ta og 10. Mag-deduct po tag 10 sa kabila, both side. So, t squared is equals to 0. So, since t squared is equals to 0, then the second property applied that the equation has only one solution. So, para mawala ang squared sa t, i-square root na to siya. So, the square root of t squared is 10. Then, the square root of 0 is 0. Answer, the equation of t squared plus 10 is equals to 10 has only one real solution, which is t is equals to 0. Now, let's move on to example number 3. Find the roots of the equation 2s squared plus 18 is equals to 0. Solution. Write the equation in the form x squared is equals to k. Take note. So, kailangan nato siya buhaton. So, same sa itong gibuhat sa example number 1 ug number 2. So, igawas na to ang 18. So, 18 minus 18 is equals to 0. 0 minus 18 is negative 18. Take note. Atong k dire is negative 18. So, negative 18 is a negative number. So, therefore, no real solution. Para mas masabtan na to, take note ani ha, 2s squared is equals to negative 18. So, kailangan sa nato siya tanggalon ning 2. So, i-multiply na to both side by 1/2. So, natay 2s squared over 2 is equals to negative 18 over 2. So, s squared na lang nabilin is equals to negative 9. Kay negative 18 divided by 2 is 9. Since negative 9 is less than 0, then the third property applied. So, i-square root na to ang s squared. So, s na lang mabilin. I-square root ko na tong negative 9. Take note, you cannot square root a negative number. So, therefore, no real solution. Answer, the equation s squared plus 9 is equals to 0 has no real solution. Last, example number 4 for the extracting square root. Find the solution of the equation x minus 4 squared minus 25 is equals to 0. O, tanawa dire. At tuwa sa ning isatisfy ning negative 25. So, igawas na to siya. So, negative 25 plus 25, may mo siyang 0. So, 0 plus 25 is equals to 25. So, naporma na siya o x squared is equals to 25. Solve the resulting equation. So, i-square root na to ng x minus 4 squared. Dun saan pag-square root? I-square root na nimo siya tibuok number. So, the square root of x minus 4 squared, ang mabili na lang niya, x minus 4. I-square root man po na to ang 25. So, naatay positive, negative 5. So, karon i-distribute na to ng negative 4 kaya kailangan x lang may mabilin dire. So, ang negative 4, dagdagan natin ng 4. So, muna ni siya. So, natay x minus 4 plus 4 is equals to plus minus 5 plus 4. Since i-distribute man nato ang 4 sa magkabilaan, so natay positive 5 plus 4 which is 9. Then negative 5 plus 4 is equals to negative 1. So, that natay duha ka solution. X is equals to 9 and x is equals to negative 1. So this is the quadratic equation solving by extracting square root. Next, this is solving quadratic equation by factoring. So some quadratic equation can be solved easily by factoring. To solve such quadratic equation, the following procedure can be followed. Sundo natin ng 5 ka steps. Number 1, transform the quadratic equation into standard form if necessary. So kung dili na siya, nakaporma na siya standard form, ayaw na hilabti. Number 2, factor the quadratic expression. So apply na yun natong factor. Number 3, apply the zero product property by setting each factor of the quadratic equation equal to 0. So, next slide, explain na ko what is a zero product property. Number 4, solve. Number 5, i-check na to kung gusto na to i-check. So, what is a zero product property? The definition is, if the product of two real numbers is 0, then either of the two is equal to 0 or both numbers are equal to 0. So, example number 1. Kung x plus 7 is equals to 0, mo nilang product 0. So, manatay answer na x is equals to negative 7. Kaya nagdidak man tag 7 diri niya, diri nag-add man tag 7. So, natay x is equals to negative 7. Another example number 2, o duha na ni siya kabuok. X plus 3 times x minus 5 is equals to 0. Their product is 0. So, simply as i-distribute nimo ang x plus 3 sa 0, distribute po nimo ang x minus 5 sa 0. So, ang tawag ani zero product property. So, you have negative 3 and 5 answers. So, example number 1, solving by factoring. So, find the solution of x squared plus 9x is equals to negative 8 by factoring. So, solution, first step is kailangan nato maporma siya og standard form. Unsaon ganito? So, kailangan mahimo ni siyang 0 diri. So, unsa itong buhaton sa negative 8 para mahimong 0? So, mag-add tag 8. Dapat both sides. So, mag-add kag 8 diri, nag-add po kag 8 diri sa pikas. So, naporma na siya karon og x squared plus 9x plus 8 is equals to 0, which is in standard form. Kaya naporma naman siya standard form, karon pwede na nato siya i-factor. Unsaon pag-factor? Take note ani ha. This one is 9. This one is 8. So, mangita ta og duha ka number nga kung i-multiply nato siya, mahimo siyang 8. Kung i-multiply nato siya, mahimo siyang 8. At the same time, kung i-add nato ang duha ka number, mahimo siya og 9. So, karon take note. 9. Kung saan nga mga number ang pwede i-multiply, mahimo siyang 9. Pwede siya 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is equals to 9. Pero kung i-add na to ang 3 plus 3, mahimo siyang 6. Which is, dili siya mao. Kay 8 man eh. So, napay isa. 1 times 9. 1 times 9 is equals to 1 times 9 is equals to pila? 9. Then, 1 plus 9. Now, example number 2. Solve 16y squared minus 64 is equals to 0. So this is the solution. Take note, ani. 16 can be square root as well as 64 can be square root. So, the square root of 16 is 4. So, distribute nimo ang 4 diri, distribute po nimo diri ang 4. 64 can be square root. So, the square root of 64 is 8. So, butang ang 8 diri, butang po nimo ang 8 diri. Take note, ani, this is a negative. So, therefore, isa ka plus diri, isa ka minus diri. So, positive times negative is negative. So, you have now, apply nimo karon ang zero product property. So, na kay 4y plus 8 is equals to 0. Na po kay 4y minus 8 is equals to 0. So, mao na ni karon ang 4y plus 8 is equals to 0. Abot ka dira. So, na kay 4y is equals to negative 8. Then, kailangan makuha nato nga y lang ni siya para makuha natong value sa roots. So, kailangan nato siya i-multiply both side by 1/4. So, na kay 4y over 4, na po kay negative 8 over 4. So, 4y divide 4 na kay y. Negative 8 divide 4 na kay negative 2. Same sa datong process buhaton sa PCAS, i-multiply both side by 1/4. So naa kay answer na y is equals to positive 2. So therefore, the equation has two roots, which is negative 2 and 2. So this is the solution for example number 2. How about example number 3? So m squared minus 14 is equals to 5. Pwede nimo ni siya i-arrange sa nimo sa standard form. Kaning m squared mo ni mong quadratic term, kaning 5m mao ni siya ang imuhang linear term. Then kaning negative 14 mao ni imuhang constant term. So kung pag-arrange ana, syempre mauna ang tawag mauna ang quadratic term followed by linear term, then followed by the constant term. So kaning 5m nimo dapat mosulod ni siya sa equal sign, so you should have ididaka nimo ni siya og minus 5m. So minus 5m para may mo siyang 0. So magdidak pug ka sa sulod og minus 5m. So na nakakaron m squared minus 5m minus 14 is equals to 0. So mao na ni karon ang imuhang standard form. Now, kailangan nato siya i-factor. So maguna-una na pud tag number nga kung i-multiply nato siya mahimo siyang 14, pero kung i-deduct nato siya or i-subtract kay negative man ni siya, i-subtract nato siya mahimo siya og negative 5. So unsang duha ka number ang 14? So di nata magdugay-dugay. So unsang duha ka number? 7 ug 2. 7 times 2 is equals to 14. Negative 7 times 2, so negative 7, kay negative man ni siya, negative 14. So negative 7, nga i-times nimo sa positive 2, ang answer is negative 14. At the same time, ang negative 7, i-deduct nimo sa positive 2, may mo siyang negative 5. So mo ni siya ang factor niya. M minus 7 o M plus 2 is equals to 0. Then apply nimo ang zero product property, so na kay m minus 7 is equals to 0, na po kay m plus 2 is equals to 0. I-distribute nimo siya, mo ni siya ang answer, na kay m is equals to 7. Diri na po kay m is equals to negative 2. So mo ni siya ang imong duha ka roots, 7 and negative 2. Now, another method in solving quadratic equation is by completing the square. Page 12 on your module. Basahon na to. Another method of solving quadratic equation is by completing the square. This method involves transforming the quadratic equation into the form x minus h squared is equals to k, where k is greater than or equal to 0. Question, can you tell why the value of k should be positive or 0? Kana, may question. Maansira na ito na siya sa following solution. Now, to solve the quadratic equation by completing the square, the following steps can be followed. Number 1, divide both sides of the equation by a, then simplify. Number 2, write the equation such that the terms with variables are on the left side of the equation and the constant term is on the right side. Number 3, add the square of 1/2 of the coefficient of x on both sides of the resulting equation. The left sides of the equation becomes a perfect square trinomial. Number 4, express the perfect square trinomial on the left side of the equation as a square of a binomial. Number 5, solve the resulting quadratic equation by extracting a square root. And number 6, solve the resulting linear equation. Pinaka-important nga part diri isang number 3. Apply nato ang steps. Example number 1. Solve the quadratic equation 2x squared plus 12x minus 14 is equals to 0 by completing the square. Solution. Mo ni siya ha. First, kailangan nato siya mawala. Kaning, di ba, kwan manino, 2x squared plus 12x minus 14 is equals to 0. Kailangan walaon sa nato ning 2 diri, kailangan wala siya number diri. So, i-divide nato siya both side by a. So, mo man ni siya tong a, 2. So, kung na yun may makita nga number dira, i-divide yun na ninyo siya. Kung wala makita nga number, mao na siya. So, i-divide nato siya both side by 2. So, mo na ning resulta karon, divide by 2. So, karon kay 2 divide 2, x na rin mabilin. Nya kani, positive 12 man na. 12 divide 2, may mo siyang 6. Then, negative 14 divide 2, negative 7. Then, equals to 0 divide 2, 0. So, x squared plus 6x minus 7, kailangan natin igawas natin ng 7 after sa equal sign. So, atong buhaton isang negative 7, mag-add ta og 7 para mahimo siyang 0. Mawala ng negative 7 diri. Yeah, diri 0 plus 7. So, nanay 7 sa gawas. Karon na natin x squared plus 6x is equals to 7. Kaning x squared plus 6x, kailangan nato buhaton ni siya og perfect square trinomial. Unsaon pagbuhat sa perfect square trinomial? Inaniyon siya. Add to both sides of the equation the square of 1/2 of 6. So, day pasabot ana. Kaning 6, atuan ni siyang hation. Pila ang katunga sa 6? Ang katunga sa 6 is 3. Tama. Katong answer nga 3, i-times nimo to siya siyang sarili. So, 3 times 3. So, 3 times 3 is equals to 9. Ang katong 9 nga answer, idagdag nimo to. X squared plus 6x plus 9. Kani siya, ang forma ani, ang tawag aning x squared plus 6x plus 9, perfect square trinomial. Kaya nagdagdag makag 9 dira, magdagdag po ka diri sa after the equal sign. So, naama kay 7 daan. So, 7 plus 9. So, what is 7 plus 9? 16. Diba ang tawag ni perfect square trinomial? Ang kanang perfect square trinomial, buhaton na nato siya square of a binomial. So, unsaon pagbuhat sa square of a binomial? Walaon nimo ning square dire. Nya, kaning 6x, walaon po nimo siya. Nya, ang kaning 9 is square root nimo, which is 3. So, na kay x plus 3, then squared. Ang tawag ani square of a binomial. Ang square of a binomial, kung imo na siyang isolve, mobalik na siyang perfect square trinomial. Ang perfect square trinomial, pwede nimo siya buhaton o pa square of a binomial. Karon napurma naman siya x plus 3 squared is equals to 16, or napurma na siya x squared is equals to k. So pwede ni square root nimo ni siya, the square root of x plus 3 squared is x plus 3. Square root po nimo ang 16, the square root of 16 is plus minus 4. So, ibulag nimo siya, i-separate nimo siya, x plus 3 is equals to 4, x plus 3 is equals to negative 4. Kabalo na mo sa pag-solve ana solution. So, yung final answer is nakay 1 diri sa pikas na bugay negative 7. So, ang imuhang roots now is 1 and negative 7. Next, another example. B squared plus 8b plus 14 is equals to 0. Ayan. Ang A niya is 1. 1 man siya, kaya di na makita. So, ayaw na siya i-divide both side by A. Pasag din na siya. So, all you have to do is, kailangan igawas na to ning 14. So, paggawas sa 14 is, magdidak ta dire og 14, magdidak po tag 14 sa pikas. So, naana takari b squared plus 8b. So, 14 minus 14, 0. Then, 0 minus 14 is equals to negative 14. So, b squared plus 8b is equals to negative 14. Next, ang sa ganito, pumaon na to siyang perfect square trinomial. So, pila ang katunga sa 8? 4. 4 times 4, 16. So, na kay b squared plus 8b plus 16. Yeah, diri pod mag-add pug kadri og 16. So na kay minus 14 plus 16. Pila ang negative 14 plus 16? 2 na lay mabilin. Karon from perfect square trinomial, buhaton nimo siya square pa binomial. So square root sa 16 is 4. Walaon ning 8b. So ang kaning square sa b mawala, din butangag square sa gawas. So na kay b plus 4 squared is equals to 2. Ang tawag ani once again is a square of a binomial. So para mawala ang squared sa square pa binomial, kaya napurma naman siya x squared is equals to k. So i-square root nimo siya. So the square root of b plus 4 squared is b plus 4 na lang mabili. Then the square root of 2 is plus minus square root of 2. Ngano plus minus square root of 2? Kay dili may square root ang 2. Mao na siya ang answer. So karon i-distribute nato ang plus square root 2 ug minus square root 2. So mo na ni siya ang answer. So b is equals to square root of square root of 2. Ya kaning plus 4 mobalin sa pikas, so na kay square root of 2 minus 4. Mo same sa imong button sa pikas. Square root of negative square root of 2 nya balhin ang 4, may mo siyang square root of 2 minus 4. So mo ni siya imuhang duha ka roots. Square root of 2 minus 4 in negative square root of 2 minus 4. So another method in solving quadratic equation is applying the quadratic formula. So basahon na to, the quadratic formula is a formula you can use to find the solution of a quadratic equation that written in standard form. So kung makita ninyo ning sa baba, x is equals to negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, mo na siya ang quadratic formula. Mo ni siya. Basahan lang. So to solve quadratic formula, apply nato ning upat ka step. Step 1, make sure the quadratic equation is in standard form. I-rearrange if necessary. Kailangan na kauna ang quadratic followed by linear followed by constant is equals to 0. Step 2, i-identify nato ang value sa A, sa B ug sa C, pinaka-important. Take note pud mo sa positive ug negative sign. Step 3, i-plug nato sa quadratic formula tong value sa inyong A, value sa inyong B, value sa inyong C. And step 4, simplify. Ana lang. Sample number 1. Find the solution of the equation 2x squared plus 3x equals to 27 using the quadratic formula. So first, i-arrange nato sa standard form. So, kabalo na mo unsaon pag-arrange. So, na-forma siya 2x squared plus 3x minus 27 is equals to 0. Karon i-apply nato ang pauna to ang value sa A, B, and C. So, ang value sa A diri is 2. Tara, 2. Ang value sa B diri is 3. Ang value sa C is negative 27. Take note, dili 27, kundi negative 27. Apply nato na siya diri sa quadratic formula. So, kung namoy nakita mga letter A, B, and C, alisdan ninyo na siya value nga 2 for A, 3 for B, and negative 27 for C. So, apply sa dara, ipang-alisdan na siya value. Next, take note ani, this is a negative B. Then, ang atuang value sa B is positive 3. So, ngayon mo na siyang negative 3. Then, mo na ni siya 3 squared. What is 3 squared? 9. Then 4 times 2 times negative 27. Ang answer is 4 times 2 times negative 27. Ang answer is negative 216. Okay. Paano man ni positive times negative. So, negative 216. And take note, naman po yung negative diri. So, ang answer ni mo, may mo siyang positive 216. Then over 4. Then 9 plus 216 is 225. So the square root of 225 is 15. So na kay negative 3 plus minus 15 over 4. I-separate ang plus ug ang minus. So mo na ni siya. So negative 3 plus 15 over 4. Diri negative 3 minus 15 over 4. Then negative 3 plus 15 is 12 over 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Then, karon negative 3 minus 15, negative 18 over 4. Then, dili man ma-divide ang 18 sa 4 kay bungkig. So, pwede nato siya i-reduce into lowest term. Divide both side by 2. So, 18 pwede ma-divide sa 2. So, 18 divided by 2 is 9. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So, okay, negative 9 over 2. Kung napansin ninyo na ako gibutang 1 ug 2, ang tawagan na x sub 1, tawagan ni x sub 2. Para ma-identify na ako nga kaning x sub 1, mo ni siya sa plus, sa x sub 2, mo ni siya sa minus. So, the two real solution is 3 and negative 9 over 2. Another example. Solve x squared minus 4x plus 12 is equals to 0. Simply, kuha na tong value sa A, wala man may makita dira. Obviously, that is 1. So value sa A is 1. Value sa B, take note, this is negative sign. So automatic negative 4. Value sa C is 12. So the value of the C is 12. Now, apply the quadratic formula using the value of A, B, and C. So, alisda nato na sila og mga numbers from letters to numbers. Then, isolve. So, take note ani, direta, basig malibog mo. Ang value sa B is negative 4. Yan, naman ay negative daan. So, may mo na siyang positive. Muna kung pasabot ka ganiha. So, taro, negative 4 squared. Negative 4 times negative 4. May mo siyang positive, 16. Kani, 4 times 1 times 12. Positive 48. Take note, nanay minus dira. So, minus 48 over 2. 16 minus 48. Mas dako ang negative 48. So, may mo siyang negative 32. So, nakay 4 plus minus square root of negative 32 over 2. O, karon, naman na yung square root niya. Kaning sa sulod sa square root is a negative number. Automatic, dili man ka maka-square root of negative, so mawala ang imong answer. So, no real solution. Damay tanan. Mo na siya. No real solution for this example number 2. So, that's all our lesson in this video. Thank you for listening and have a blessed day, students.